All the chairs quickly getting filled up, but we should get going. Belshir, game number 1. Now, what are you expecting to see on Belshir?
Well, you're a big fan of Stargate play.
Yes, I love
Belshir.
Stargate.
I believe Harstem is a moderate fan of Stargate play. The builds that I've seen him use on Belshir quite differ. I know he's a big fan of going for a 3-gate blink build here with about 10 or 11 gateways. I'm hoping we are going to see that. That could be fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping you will, but we'll wait and see.
It's creative, it's new. It's always fun to see creative and new things. When players think of new builds, that's when I have the most fun. So why don't you do the honors of introducing our 2 Dutch players as you're casting alongside a Dutch caster as the only guy from the UK in the entire building.
No need to gang up on me, God. Anyway, so in the top left position, we have got the red Zerg player. He represents Team Liquid. I think some of you in the audience might be cheering for him. It is LiquidRet. And his opponent, spawning in the bottom right position, the blue Protoss player from Fnatic. It is Harstem. Harstem got a bit more of a manly roar there. Like, that was like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess Ret has the looks, and everyone's cheering. All the girls are cheering for Ret, and the guys are cheering for Harstem. Nah, that doesn't really make sense. By the way, I like what the guys with the big Dutch flag did. Yeah. They used to have LiquidRet on there, and now it says Harstem. Yeah, way to change your...
I think they've made it interchangeable. I think one side has Ret, and one side has Harstem.
The other side has Ret.
It's like, well, either way we're right. Just like, yeah.
The guy who wins the first game, they'll just swap it around to show his name next time.
It's still a bit more commitment than
cheering
that guy. That guy at the WCS Premier with whiteboards. If you've got multiple whiteboards, like, you could never be wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it was always like that, I promise. So. Anyway, so in this game, we see at the moment Harstem just going for a nice little pro block there. It's one of those things which, as a Zerg, you're always just a bit like, oh, why do you have to do this to me? It's frustrating. Harstem actually doing a really good job of that. Red does get the hatchery down. Nice little move there. Always good to see. Meanwhile, it's a Nexus first opening, and we actually spoke about this in one of the earlier games today, Lurlian, where we were saying that this is such a gateway expand map for most Protoss players, but it seems today Protoss players are willing to shake it up a bit.
Game paused.
Yep.
So we're just going into a quick pause. Not too much to talk about in this game so far.
Well, yeah, the only subject that we can really talk about is the one that you just started, which is the one topic that we don't see a gateway expand on this map as often in this tournament as we're used to seeing in WCS, Korea, North America, Europe, basically everywhere.
And the reason why you get some issues potentially going forward to fast expansion or Nexus first on this map is because the entrance to your natural is so ridiculously wide. There's also no ramp. It can leave you a little bit vulnerable. And you've got to ask yourself, is this somewhat a little bit of metagaming out of Harstem, sitting there thinking, okay, this is Ret I'm up against. He's not going to rush me. He's not going to do anything aggressive early. He's just going to get drones.
He's going to do what he does best. He's got many nicknames. Of course, one of the more popular ones is Game of Drones. It's a nickname he used to play under, isn't it?
Yeah, he did. I've cast many games of his on my YouTube channel under that Smurf account of his. So
not the one he's currently playing under. He's keeping it clean, keeping it normal and formal, playing under his LiquidRet tag, of course. This game.
Now, as we saw, it was a gateway before the cannon came down there, so just nothing really to worry about at the moment. A quick third coming down from Red. Going to hit about 355. Anything before around the 4-minute mark is ace against the Nexus first opening. So these two both going really economical, which leads us to the mid-game. What sort of things can we be expecting here? We saw earlier a Stargate opening, actually going for that 4-gate Voidway play, not from Harstem, but from Shaq. Didn't work out for him, but it can work really nicely if executed perfectly. Other things we could be getting is Immortal Sentry builds. We've got quite common of seeing those. Blink play, not so much. What are your thoughts on getting a quick third on this map, though, Lurlin, as Protoss?
Getting a quick third can always be interesting in some ways. You can use it to fake out your opponent. That blink build I was talking about, that Harstem uses, gives your opponent like a sigh of relief. Like, okay, there's a third for Protoss, I'm not going to be attacked. I can take a big economic risk and grab a fourth, go to Hive, and get late game tech. But if all of a sudden 40 Blinkstalkers get into your fourth or third base, that's a difficult thing. So a third base is definitely an option on this map. It's going to be a while before we can see just how exactly it plays out. It's not the easiest map to be able to defend your third on.
Now, the one thing we are seeing is +1 has got down at the moment for Harstem. Meanwhile, for Red, Red, he's got some big key issues that he can try and exploit. Firstly, he needs to identify, is Harstem trying to kill me off of 2 bases? That's really the big question he's got to ask himself, and if so, how? He can then tech up appropriately. A Roach Warren, pretty likely. Like, let's face it, it's EVP. He's going to be getting that anyway. His timing up to Lair, it comes down to personal preference. Will he be going for the Roach Hydra play up into Vipers? Will he be going for
Mutas,
Swarm Hosts? All good viable options on this map, and that's what makes it potentially a bit tough for Harstem, because there are lots of things the Rek could be throwing at him, but for the moment just 6 Zerglings are adding on to the 2 already there, so that's going to give actually Rek quite a bit of map presence, and this is going to allow him to force out back any proxy pylons that may try to go on. This Zealot that's wandering around isn't going to have any joy getting in doing anything at the moment, so all this does is just make sure that you're making sure, well, just that the Protoss can't rush you or anything like that.
Yeah, getting 6lings early, never a bad thing, able to kill that Zealot as it's moving out, able to snipe the probe as it tries to go anywhere funny. So that's going to be the use of that. Probe on the right side of the map is going to try to be sneaky, but an Overlord for Red is in position, and immediately Harstem changes his plans. He's going to drop his proxy pylon somewhere else to warp in with his 4 gateways. So we're going to see a 4-gate pressure into a Robo, most likely into some sentries and an expansion behind this. I don't think this is as much a kill move of Harstem, but he's definitely looking to do some damage, and the early links for Red turning out to be valuable, but they might not be able to stop this.
Yeah, these links, they've identified where the proxy pylon is. But Harstem's got a lot spare. This is instantly prompting Red to start getting a lot more Roaches and a lot more Zerglings, because this 4-gate pressure can be quite frustrating. The Mothership core isn't over with the army yet, though, so there's no option for a mass recall or time warps, and it is just going to join in now. This is where things can get a little bit more tough. The Queen does have to try and prioritize that Mothership core if at all possible, but if the Queens go down, that gives the core free reign of the 3rd base.
This is exactly what Harstem wants. He's not going to commit to anything here. He's just scaring his opponent and making as many units as possible, and then he's going to fall back to his Immortals and his sentries back at home, and will be trying to expand to a 3rd base. And Red, he's been scared big time, man. He's been making units for, I don't know, a full minute now. He's got 36 Zerglings out on the field, 7 Roaches with 3 more in production. He's invested a lot in defending this. And what did it really cost Harstem? He lost a Pylon and a Zealot. Has to be careful, though, back at home. This is a lot of units, and speed is going to finish for those Zerglings, so the Zealots are probably not going to get back home.
Now, what we've just seen from Red is he's chucked down the Hydra Den. Against this oh, look at this, Zealots do get surrounded by all these speedlings. This is a nice little pick-off there. That's actually a lot of damage getting done. The Stalker is also going to go down. That Warlock isn't complete, just warping in time there. Nice reactions from Harstem. That could have been really nasty.
Yeah, those Zealots were lost. I think Harstem was alright with losing them, but Red's producing so many units. Harstem now not in a position where he can really move out and take the 3rd base just yet. Maybe he's not going to take a 3rd at all, because he keeps on adding gateways. 1 went down, then a 2nd, and now a 3rd, so he's going to be up to 7 gateways of production, which could mean that he's going to stay on his 2 bases and wants to end it this way. Could mean an expansion still.
It could do. There is a War Prism coming out. That War Prism, of course, not yet been buffed, but we can talk about that out of the game, that speed buff that could be coming in.
No, it's not going to be an expansion, Matters. Definitely not. He just walled himself in with a pylon, and that's like the biggest tell, because your probe won't be able to get out to place that expansion.
That does make it problematic,
yeah.
Generally speaking. It's a bit awkward to do that, but no, here we go. We've got Harstem moving across. Okay, let's take a look at the army count. He's got 3 Immortals there. He's got the War Prism for reinforcements, but Red, look at the Hydra count. That's slowly creeping up. Hydra's deal incredibly well with this Gateway Immortal style play. Until there's Colossi out, Hydra's just rope stomp everything else. And that's something that Harstem does have to be a little bit cautious of. And Red trying to buy himself more time to get more Hydras. That's why he's running around with these Zerglings, trying to force the engagement sooner on, trying to pick off any proxy pylons they may be able to. We've also got the Spire coming out. And this is Red really anticipating that there are Colossi following this up. ready to get Corruptors out, but that's not what we're seeing. If he holds this, Red is in an amazing position.
Could also be for the Muta switch that we see is so common. You know, if you take out that entire Protoss army, and then he might have a third behind it, but if you switch into Mutas, he will never be ready for that because he has got Immortal Contenders. Of course, it's being dropped here. Harstem getting 3-4 roaches. Could have been worse. A few of those roaches will be able to get out alive, but so much time has been bought for Ret, which is exactly what he needed to do. Buying time is all that he's been doing for the past couple of minutes. He's got Spine Crawlers at home, he's got a creep highway using his Overlords, and he has a lot of Hydras. In fact, he's got 18 Hydras. Has to be careful. Oh, what are you doing, Red? Pay attention to your Hydras.
Yeah, those Hydras don't want to get caught out of position. Good force fields there by Harstem, but this is where things get tough. Look at that attack arc right now for Red.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Those blocks need to get taken down before there's any chance that Harstem's going to be able to push through there. Red just keeping on moving forward. He is going to just stop this. There's the rocks getting taken out. This increases the area of attack that Harstem can utilize. But Red, he's getting ready for the sandwich. He's sending the units around the back. This is always risky, and Red, he's going to be going for it. Look at that attack angle. This is so problematic now. The force fields, they're good, but are they good enough?
I don't think they're going to be good enough. The Hydras managed to stream through, and especially the army at the top is doing really well, but the Immortals are still alive, and with reinforcements, maybe Harstem will be able to hold on. The first Immortal has now gone down, still 2 alive. Zealots coming in to tank some damage, extremely close, but it looks like the attack arc and the amount of units of Ret are just going to be slightly too much for Harstem here. Harstem's down to 60 supply, 134 supply for LiquidRet. He is looking like he might go ahead and take this game. GGG coming out of Harstem.